You're listening to the Engaged Club podcast, where we believe that engagement of members, staff, and managers is the key to a thriving club.
Our aim is to help you become a better club manager by giving you practical, actionable club management and marketing advice.
I'm Roger Kincaid. I'm the marketing director at Off Course Golf. We make member and customer engagement tools for club managers that make growth and prosperity their business. You can find out more about what we do at offcourse.golf.
And I'm Jim Hope. I've been managing clubs and working in the hospitality business for nearly 40 years. I now proudly serve the members of the Derrick Golf and Winter Club in Edmonton, Alberta as their GM and COO.
So, Jim, I don't know if you've ever heard of something called the Meeker Report. Mary Meeker was dubbed the queen of the internet back in the mid-90s, and ever since then, she's been releasing this annual report on trends, things that she's noticing online on the internet, as you know, how we interact with each other, how we use the web, and how we use our devices. And she's always way ahead of the curve. So I wanted to pull something from the Meeker Report that can give you an indication of how you can use Instagram at your club.
No, that's awesome. I had never heard of the Meeker Report. I did just open it up, and it's a daunting document, but I'm anxious to hear a little bit more about it and how Instagram works into it. So let's dive into this, Raj. And for those listening to this podcast, you'll know that it's supported by the Canadian Society of Club Managers, a proud partner of ours.
All right, Jim. Well, the thing about the Meeker Report is that, you know, it's widely circulated, widely read, because if you want to know what's going to happen online this year or what people are doing with their devices and how they're engaging with content, you want to read the Meeker Report. It's kind of like the best place to get the best information. She puts a lot of work into it every single year. And, you know, I was reading through it and I got to slide number 86. And this blew me away. And it's a quote from Kevin Systrom, who's the co-founder of Instagram. And he said this. He says that, you know, people have always been visual. Our brains are wired for images. Now, think way back in time, you know, hundreds of thousands or millions of years ago, we'd see paintings on cave walls, right? Archaeologists and, you know, have discovered this, and anthropologists have discovered this, that people used to paint, you know, animals or paint their hands on the insides of caves, right? They didn't write the word, you know, I have a hand, or there's big bears around here, right? They painted them, right? They painted pictures. And even, you know, 130 years ago, imagery is still such an important thing, to the point where we obsessed about adding motion to our pictures. And so it wasn't enough to just, you know, when we learned how to take photographs, it wasn't enough to just have a still photo, amazing as that was at the time. People wanted to add even more context by adding some motion to those images. And movies play a huge role in our life today. You know, I would argue that most North Americans would probably rather go to a movie or watch something on Netflix than pick up a book and read it. Is that a controversial statement?
Nope, not at all. I'd agree with that 100%.
So back to this quote then from the Instagram co-founder. People have always been visual. Our brains are wired for images. Writing was a hack, a detour. Pictorial languages are how we all started to communicate. We are coming full circle. And that quote really blows my mind. And it really enforces to me why Instagram is such an important social media component for your club, but also why Instagram is so very, very, very popular. It's that, you know, when you could paint on the wall in the cave, you could show people like, hey, I saw this giant bear here, you know, be careful about these giant monsters. This is kind of like what they look like. And before we could take photographs of each other and we could, you know, travel greater distances on horseback, you would have to write a letter and you would describe, you know, what the day was like and what you saw. But people don't have to do that anymore. Now we just take a picture of it, text it to our friend and say, look, I'm at the fair. Look at the size of this ice cream cone, or something like that, right? Pictures are definitely worth 1,000 words, and it's our preferred method of communication. And now that it's so easy for us to send pictures to people, we're more likely to do that than we are to write really long descriptive text. So, Roger, bring it all back to Instagram for me, Jim. I can hear you screaming that under your breath.
Roger, I'm kicking the table right now that you're not there already. So would you go there, please?
All right. So here's the thing. When we want to come up with a dead simple Instagram strategy, we can make it even simpler than we can possibly imagine. All you have to do is this. Okay. Trust one or two people around the club with your Instagram account and just get them to take pictures of the course looking amazing, the course looking beautiful, like it's a wonderful place to spend time, and take pictures of people enjoying themselves on your property. Now, the only caveat for that last one is don't stage the pictures. Don't get everyone gathered around the one side of the table, smiling for the camera, holding up their trophy or whatever it is, right? Just take pictures of people enjoying themselves. Make it a candid shot. Maybe, ask them if they'd be okay with you taking a picture of them enjoying their lunch together. But, we just don't want to stage it. We just want to capture a slice of life, right? Because when you think about what your Instagram account is, it's not going to be these one-off promotions. Come down to the pro shop and get a deal on Pinnacle golf balls. Instead, it's going to be this long, evolving story about the visual representation of what life at your club is like. And you don't have to make it these one-off sales pitches. Instead, it should just be this continuing narrative about how beautiful your property is, how much people enjoy themselves when they come here, and why you should come on down here as well.
Well, and I'm taking it even past Instagram, just from marketing at your club. If I sent out an email that said, hey, let you know we're cutting the tees at a half an inch and the fairways are a quarter of an inch and the rough is 2 inches and it rained last night and everything's really green, you're going to go, huh? But if I send you a picture down the first hole of my fairway and you see the definition in the cut and you see this beautifully manicured grass, I don't need to write anything, right? I just need to give you the picture.
That's exactly right. And then, if you did want to write something, you should say, what are you doing today?
Exactly. Yeah. We had a big event at the club on Friday night, and it was the first year we've ever had it. We know it's going to sell out next year, but our marketing for the event next year is just going to be a collage of pictures of this year's event and say, have you signed up yet? And I think that's all we have to say. We don't have to describe it. The pictures will do that for us, and they'll do it better than we could ever write it.
And that is exactly right. And when you're sending out that invitation and it's got pictures of your members, they'll be evangelizing the event. They'll be the ones saying, oh yeah, no, my picture's in that invitation. Let me tell you how great a time that I had. So yeah, you're bang on, Jim. That is going to be a very successful event next year. I know it was a big success for you this year too. And we should toot that horn a little bit in a future episode of this podcast.
We may do an ETU episode. Now, Raj, question for you.
Yeah.
If I'm going to send out pictures, in an email campaign, should I do them as a PDF attached to the email, or should I copy the pictures into the content? Any thoughts on that?
You cheeky guy there. You're going back a couple of episodes to my rules about writing your emails and not just sending out images or attaching PDFs. No, look, you should include beautiful images in your emails, but that is one place when you must write some content around your images. So we're talking about a dead simple Instagram strategy here, where all you really need to do is create an ongoing pictorial narrative of how good life in your club is. It's really easy to do and doesn't need to be overly complicated. Just take good pictures of people enjoying themselves or your course looking beautiful. But yeah, when it comes to your email marketing, Jim, that's when words really, really matter, to get through spam traps and to provide even more context for why people should want to come out to your club.
We really hope this episode is a big help to you. If you know somebody else that could benefit from this episode, please share it and let's grow together.
Yeah, the archive of this podcast is available at engagedclub.com, where you can also subscribe to our YouTube channel and join our Slack space for more discussion. And of course, we'd always like to hear your thoughts, questions, ideas, comments, anything you have to say via email at hello@engagedclub.com. Thanks for listening.